But there is a disconnect between these two markets. The S&P and equity markets are making distinctions in terms of equity, saying, okay, cash burn, low cash cushion, out to the woodshed, and the Mag 6 until recently not seeing any concerns whatsoever. And here we are. The high-yield market is saying that the cash cushion argument really isn't a risk. If the bond market's right, I've already gone through commodity prices as an indicator, and I'll end with the thought, and we've expressed it over time, that the risk is deflation. But it's not all risk, it is opportunity as well. The deflation associated with technology, the cost declines in technology, that's going to cause booms in growth and create all kinds of new jobs that we can't even imagine now. Those disrupted, who haven't been able to get to the right side of change, the internal combustion engine is one of those. But there are many. Those who do not embrace AI aggressively to help increase their own productivity so that they can cut their own prices, they're going to be in harm's way. But anyone who faces price deflation, and we think many companies will, is going to adopt new technologies that are going to increase their productivity dramatically. And that is what always happens during a recession. Innovation gains traction. Consumers and businesses are willing to change the way they do things when they're fearful, and we think they're getting fearful. So we think there's going to be a lot more technology adoption, especially around AI, during the years ahead. So I'll end up where we started. We're in very, very early days with AI. We think it's the most important general-purpose technology transformation in history, and that it has miles to go. And the rate of change is so much faster than it was during the internet age, which was all around Moore's law, which was, in the transistor world, semiconductor world, same performance for half the cost every 18 to 24 months. Today, the changes are not happening in 18 to 24 months. The performance changes for the same cost are happening every 4 months. And that's why we think it's important for anyone, whether you're an employee or a business leader, to think about embracing as many of these, or harnessing as many of these AI tools to increase productivity as possible, because the competition is going to be very intense. Those who adopt these new technologies the fastest are going to win. Let's talk about Nvidia, okay? Your rate on the quarter, which was, obviously a beat. Sales up 94% year on year. That is a slowdown from the prior 3 quarters, which have just been astounding. And 94% up year over year is amazing, obviously. But what's your take? I mean, let's say at the start, it's down a little bit today because expectations were sky high. But this was a blockbuster quarter by Nvidia, right? What's clear to me now, and what I think the biggest takeaway from the call is that the world runs on Nvidia. As Jensen said, AI is in full swing. He said this is a multi-year event. This is not just about training AI. This is about moving all the world's x86 architecture. All the applications that run on CPUs are going to be rebuilt over the course of the next 3 or 4 years on GPUs that are running machine learning. So I think that the market is going to have to absorb that this just isn't about training clusters in 2025. This is about GPU data centers that are going to be built in 26 and 27. And so for us, our numbers came up. You witnessed that. I suppose sell-side analysts took up their price targets for the stock. We were buying it pre-market when it was down, purchasing it this morning. Yeah, so I think it was a blockbuster report. And I believe, it's clear to me that the Intels of the world are going to continue to lose ground, and the Nvidias of the world are going to continue to gain share. And if you want to play on the tailwinds associated with AI, you have to include Nvidia in your portfolio. Okay, so it's now your number 2 position, correct, with buying a little bit more this morning. Josh, what was your perspective on the quarter? You're certainly well known for being in this stock for a very lengthy period of time. I think they were really clever in the way they maintained everyone's enthusiasm for the prospect for Blackwell orders to stand. The fact that demand is still outstripping supply, but they didn't ramp up the enthusiasm too much to put them into a situation where they just can't win the next time they report. And that's truly going to be the company's task going ahead. It is already the largest market cap firm in the world. In the world, it is currently the most essential stock. They don't have to keep pushing themselves to perform better and better and better. They do have a very bright future, so it's more difficult than it seems. Furthermore, there is no denying that GPUs and data centers will continue to dominate the future. The revolution is real. In that revolution, their market share position is likewise indisputable. They must now provide people with realistic guidance, execute, ship products, and meet those numbers each quarter without putting themselves in a situation where they are unable to escape, where the market expects them to double their revenue annually, which is obviously impossible mathematically. Everything is going ok so far. I believe Jensen is aware of the goal. I believe he has agreed to the mission. And all of what I heard last night pleased me. The concept of the moat is crucial, since rivals are entering the market with fresh ideas, and I'd want to hear Brad's response to this. Production of Amazon's own Trainium 2 chips is increasing. For example, they won't always have the entire market to themselves. However, they are able to hold on to their supremacy, and the ecosystem may benefit from more products available. That, I believe, was the mood established last night. Additionally, I believe that other Nvidia longs heard the same thing I did. What are your thoughts? That's all about the installed base concept, really. Jensen has previously discussed that topic in a similar manner, and I believe I have already brought it up. We view that in the same light as Apple, who has a sizable installed base of its own. Yes, pay attention. The stock began the year at $49 and $50 a share. We're at $145 or whatever today, you know. The asymmetry has been resolved, and everyone has this wall of worry. Isn't that part of the reason? Amazon will have its own Trainium chip, along with custom ASICs. They will undoubtedly use Trainium, as I stated in our most recent BG2 podcast. It's a less expensive option for some clients. Additionally, Jassy has stated that he intends to purchase as much Nvidia as possible for as long as he can remember. They are aware that Nvidia powers the world. Listen up, when we look at our price target for Nvidia next year, it's up 30% rather than 100% as it was at the beginning of 2023 or 2024. As a portfolio manager, I would say that we reduced the size of our holding. We started the year in a rather unusual position. When we started this quarter, the position was of a typical magnitude. This quarter, we're also adding a little bit to the pullback. However, for the next few years, we believe it will be a terrific compounder and a great bet on both AI and the replacement, the switch from x86 to GPU-based data centers. But perhaps that's the purpose, Sarah, if it stops moving forward. Mark Andreessen and a lot of other specialists, including Jensen, will be heard. I don't know. However, I found it intriguing that Andreessen essentially stated the same on the podcast as well, naming ChatGPT employees as the sources. We all believe it's on a one-way ticket, therefore it is. That's right. Higher and faster. That's right. The rate of change will only accelerate exponentially, by the way. That being said, maybe beers. It's fascinating. The incoming president's rhetoric regarding Taiwan will likely anger the Chinese because they will have to pay for their own defense, which means Taiwan will likely end up purchasing F-35s and Patriot missiles from the U.S. to demonstrate that they are willing to cooperate. This has been an existential threat to Taiwan Semi and possibly Nvidia the entire time, so you start to think about how it will all work out. If you would like any other changes, please let me know.